Hey there, Citizen Palo here, and welcome back. I'm guessing I'm going to call this a tour of duty. I did a video not too long ago on the Valkyrie. It's a relatively new ship. This came with 3.3, I think. Came Citizen Con, so yeah, 3.3. So this video, this ship's relatively new. I did a video on it, but that was before I had really started doing the Tour of Duty series, and my channel wasn't active like it had been for a while. So I think I want to recover it, but this video is going to rehash a lot of what I said in the other video. You're not going to hear too much, nor my opinions have changed a little bit on this ship. I'm still not entirely sure the place it fits, with the exception of one thing. But anyway, let's get into it a little bit more. This is the Anvil Valkyrie dropship. So this is your 20-man, heavily armored, somewhat heavily armed, we're getting a weird graphic glitch there, somewhat heavily armed dropship. Essentially, it's the dropship from Aliens. I kind of don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. This is Star Citizen's version of the Alien dropship, and I like it for that. I really do. I think that aesthetically, it's quite awesome. It feels intimidating for what it is. It's big, but not huge. It's bulky. It's got a really good feel to it of what would be like a solid ship. A little concerned about these VTOL engines here. They're a little questionable of how easily they get destroyed off, which would really hinder the performance of the ship. But I do like that squat, wide little look that it has. You do have, so this is a minigun ship. I've talked about miniguns for a long time or whatever. They're cool but not very effective. All that's still going to apply here. So this is the pilot's main armament right here. So you do have two miniguns here. Well, I'm not even sure what size they are. We probably can't see. In fact, I can guarantee we can't actually see what size they are, but we'll go in here and see what we can find. Anvil, that's going to be towards the top. Valkyrie Liberator. Systems weaponry, here we go. So the turrets are rocking, looks like size 3s, size 1 to 3. And this front's going to also be a size 3. Yeah, so you've got 6 size 3 miniguns, 2 size 2 miniguns, and 2 size 1 miniguns. So it's got quite a few miniguns on it. So these are the pilots. These ones are gimbaled up to the pilot's seat. Obviously, we could remove that turret, and that would make it a size 5. Which would be pretty cool. Down here you do have the underbelly turret. Now right now the gun is like flipped back, so when you actually get in and deploy it, the guns rotate around and come back around. As you can see, like right there would be the person sitting. You do sit in this upside down if I'm not mistaken. No, I am mistaken. You don't sit in these upside down. I'm thinking of the Connies. So we move on back here. Out on the wingtips, here are the size 2s. You'll see here, so this is a remote turret, handled similar to the Super Hornet's remote turret. It's handled from the inside. We'll come on around back a little bit further. A large cargo ramp. Let's actually close it. Can't really close it. All right, well, you're going to see why I've kind of come around a little bit. This thing does have the cargo capacity to carry an Ursa rover. Not cargo capacity, but just the floor space for an Ursa rover. So that was one of the things I definitely wanted to test on this. Let's see, can we close it and get it? Nope. All right, we'll go out the side door. Here we go. There's side doors similar to what you would have in a Cutlass. You can open them up like this. Nice thing about these is there's a little step that opens up, which is pretty cool. Now we can come around and you can actually see it back this. A good wide, but also shallow, I guess would be the term. The angle on it isn't too steep. So when you actually have it fully down, the angle's pretty good, which makes getting ground vehicles in and out a lot easier. The rover has its own little problem. We'll come back and talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that's the back end. We'll climb around here. You can climb up onto this. Works nice and well. At least Nope, I didn't want to close it. I wanted to climb on it. It was working before. Open that back up. Climb. Come on. Vault. Vault on to it. Not how I wanted to do it, but okay. We got in there. There is like the actual vault animation normally does work on that. The doors do have deployable miniguns that we can deploy out here. And then we can man these. We're in a no fire zone, so there's not much I can do here, but where's the... Let's see. Power, 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 power. That's exit. There we go. Now we have it's on. I can move it around. I would be able to shoot if it was. Just provide a little bit of cover for people either getting in or out. For that, they're not going to be too super useful, but there they are. Yep. Then we do have through these bulkheads. These doors are normally closed. I was playing around with this before. If you haven't caught on, but here's like kind of the other thing that this ship can do. Everything's mirrored on this side too. So you have another door, another little step that'll go down, another minigun that'll come out and everything. But what you can do is you can also carry 20 Marines in rumble seats. So you have 10 on each side of this center area. So 5, 5. As we come around here, on the other side, it would be 5 and 5, giving us our 20 Marines. And this is that front turret. Flip down in. See, the miniguns are now facing forward now that I actually got in to the turret. Can we get a better view? There we go. So the miniguns flip around, and then if I exit out, you can't actually see them flip around. Anyway, the miniguns deploy in and out. That's fine. Let's get out of there. It's a turret with size 3 hard points. Come back around. Then we'll head up top into the little crew area of sorts. A real janky ladder. Oh boy. Let's go ahead. Let's actually, before we do this crew area, let's take this thing off. Let's make sure we don't get despawned on this pad. So let's take off. We'll just move a little further away. And then we will come back. Because I don't think I can respawn it here. This is one of those moon locations where you can land on the pad and your ship will sit there for a while. But after eventually it will despawn and then there's no ship terminal to get it back. So let's climb back in here. We'll just take it for a quick flight. So power off. Flight ready. Sounds like it just closed all the exteriors. Yes, it did. Alright. Let's see. Here we go. Take off. Woo! I'm on. Level out. Level out. Level out. There it is. F4. So then raise the landing gear. The engines move forward. Yeah. Perfectly fine. Lower it back down. Go out here along the ridgeline. So, performance-wise, the thing handles actually surprisingly good. For how it looks, at least in 3.4 handling characteristics, it handles reasonably well. You can fly this thing fairly low to the ground, and it's reasonably responsive. Is it a fighter? No, but you're doing 200 meters a sec, and it turns and does pretty good. Well, we almost got a little too low there. Nope, that's gonna hit. Nope, we're okay. Yeah. Alright, shut up. Stop crying. Nice little crater out here. Let's come back around. We can shoot the forward miniguns. Yeah. You also do have, so this does come with, is it size 3s? This might have size 3 quantum drive propulsion. This thing does travel really fast in quantum. It's definitely at least size 2. Let's come out here. We'll land on this ridge right here. Where's a good flat area on this ridge? Right there, looks like. I get it. I get it. There's things in front of us. Thank you. Let's see, let's get a good angle so we don't crash and kill ourselves. Okay, there we go. Alright, we'll just leave it on like that and we'll hop out. Cockpit's not bad. The one thing I didn't show you is the cockpit for what it is. You do have a window down between your legs, so you can see it right there. Which does help a little bit for when you're coming in trying to land on top of something. Just gives you a little bit better view of where exactly you're landing. We have damage states going on now for some reason. It's fine. Anyway, okay, working back from the cockpit. You do have the similar door between the cockpit and that. Here are the remote turrets, so we can get into the turret here. Once it comes back down, we power it on, and then We enter remote turret. And I'll say, for a remote turret on a dropship, the positioning on these, as long as these wings don't get destroyed, is really good. You have a great field of view all around of everything. You can aim pretty high, you can aim pretty low. You can't aim completely to the back, you also can't aim completely to the front, but you do have the underbelly and the top turret for that. But for covering the side, people getting out of the door, it's kind of just off to our right there. For covering people getting out of that door, this isn't too bad. I don't know how terrifying this weapon is, but you can always swap that out for something better. Put a scatter gun on this or something, just to suppress things. This is, you know, the view on this thing is really, really good. Put it back kind of to where it looks normal. Go ahead and press H to get out. Same thing on the other side. We don't need to go over that. We got 5 sleeping compartments, so the crew, it is supposed to be a crew of 5, so there's no crew of, the 20 Marines are kind of like an attachment or whatever. So pilot, and then the 4 crew members. So basically pilot, bottom turret, top turret, left turret, right turret is what you have here for sleeping compartments. There is a bathroom here that I feel is too big for a dropship. You're not, at least in my mind, you don't use a dropship for long travel. And it shows in this because you don't have like a kitchen or a dinette. Yeah, you have the tables, but there's no food prep area or anything like that. There's also no cargo capacity in this thing in order to, maybe this is a food area. Oh yeah, there is a food area. Crew food access. Okay, so there's a food area. In my mind, you take this ship, like if you have a Bengal carrier or maybe even a Javelin. This probably won't fit in an Idris. But you have a Javelin or something, you come along, and you want to get 40, 60 troops down on planetside, and you want to take a ground vehicle with them. That's where this thing comes along. So at most, you should be doing 1-2 short quantum jumps with it. And for that, this bathroom just feels a little bit overkill. Give it a toilet. You know, that should be really all they need. But it's fine. It's not a big deal. It just seems a little odd for this design of ship. That's more like, that's a larger bathroom than the Connie has. Way larger than the Connie has. So come to the back here. We can enter the upper turret. Power, power, power. Power off. Oh, did I never turn it off? Yeah, there we go. So. It's fine. It's a good it's another size 3 turret, as you would expect. Power off. Exit. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole ship. So, what do I think overall? Well, this one's interesting. Mainly because of this capacity back here. So this thing, as I said, it doesn't have any cargo capacity. You can't use this as a trade ship. There's no cargo grid on the floor at all in this ship. And I actually approve of that. There was a lot of pushback when this ship first came out. Everybody wanted them to put cargo grid down here. And I was like, you know what? Well, yeah, that would make the ship better. It absolutely would. It would make the ship more of an everyday user. And that's kind of cool. I think the fact that this is a dedicated dropship, and the thing it's supposed to be used for is a dropship, works in its favor not having that cargo capacity. We don't want to have every ship be a jack of all trades ship. And the fact that this one doesn't do that means you're not buying this ship to be a possible dropship and also possibly hauling cargo and also possibly doing mission runs where you're blowing up pirates or whatever. No, you're buying this thing as a dropship. And with that, well, there's some things to take into account. In my mind, most of the time you're going to use a dropship. I would rather not put all my eggs in one basket. That's my issue with the Valkyrie. You're getting 25 people if you're fully kitting this thing out, plus like an Ursa rover or a Cyclone, possibly even 2 Cyclones. I'll show you that here in a bit. We'll go back to the landing pad. Possibly even 2 Cyclones or upwards of like 6 Dragonflies, Aeopanoxes, something along those lines. That's a lot of personnel in one ship. So what happens if you get shot down? What happens if, whatever? You're losing a substantial amount of your force. I would rather bring 3 Vanguard hoplites in, or even split the crew up into several freelancers over this thing in most circumstances. The one time that it's not most circumstances is when you want what's currently in the back end of it, that Ursa rover. You're not going to be getting the Ursa rover into a Vanguard hoplite. You're not going to be getting it into, what's that, not the Banu Defender, what is the that weird alien dropship. You're not getting that ship in there. You're also not getting that ship into the redone Retaliator. Not the redone, but when the Retaliator, when it gets its modules put in, then you can go ahead and use that thing as a dropship. You're not getting that in there. So this as a dedicated dropship then does become a little more interesting if you want to run in one dropship that is going to have basically a ground command and control vehicle. And that's kind of where the Ursa could be used a little bit. You know, you can get people in there to recover their oxygen if need be, if they're running low on oxygen pens. As we discovered in one of the previous videos, you can't do that in a Cyclone. So that's where this ship does have some viability. I could see using one of these to transport 10 crew plus an Ursa rover. And then in addition to that, you bring in a lot of other crew in a hoplite. And the combination of those would be pretty interesting. Or several hoplites, as I should say. And that way you're getting the benefit of this guy. You're bringing in the Ursa rover. You have that good ship, or that good ground vehicle that can be a little more tanky. And in addition to that, you're also not putting all your eggs in one basket. I'm just going to move the Cyclone here so I can get the Ursa rover out of there. We'll just go straight forward here. Whoop. And turn over there, and there we go. We're out. Okay, hop out of there. I do like the handling. I've already CCU'd up away from the Valkyrie. I've gotten rid of this thing. I'm keeping it for now because, well, the loaner ship that I would get for what I've CCU'd up to is a Hammerhead, and honestly, I don't really want the Hammerhead. I know within the Star Citizen community that's kind of sacrilege. I'm not a big fan of that ship. At some point, I will do that CCU upgrade after 3.5 drops. I want to see how this thing handles in atmosphere after 3.5. I want to see with the new flight mechanics of VTOL specific ship, how it's going to handle before I get rid of it. So that's kind of why I'm keeping it around for now. Once I've flown it around in 3.5, seen how it handles, then I'm going to go ahead and CCU up it to the Polaris that I actually replaced it with, and get the Hammerhead, and then there'll be a tour of duty of the Hammerhead and all of that. So yeah, here we go. We are into the Ursa rover. The one thing with the rover that becomes a bit of a problem is that damn gun. The gun, when you power the system on, the gun comes up.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy.
And then the gun gets caught in the ceiling. So you have to kind of play and fight around the gun as you come in and out. In fact, the gun is now stuck. Yep, the gun is stuck. So we got to go enter the turret. We got to look down. Then we exit the turret. And now we can back out. So you can see the turret is the one problem. Now that's not a long-term problem. At some point you will have the ability to deploy and undeploy that, and it's not going to be tied with just powering it on. But as it is right now, getting it in there can be a pain in the butt because that turret likes to get caught. I think we can also back this in, which would make unloading it a lot easier. Let's see if we can turn it around and back it in. I know you can back the Cyclone in. And this has to do with more of that ramp. I was talking about how the ramp is kind of shallow compared to a lot of the other ramps that you try to go up to that have a much steeper angle. This ramp's a lot easier for wheeled vehicles to go up with the way it's designed. Let's see. So, are we centered? Yeah. There we go. We caught something. There we go. We're in. We can go right in like that. We're hitting that back ramp, so we can bounce forward. And then if we were in like this, when we hit the ground, we're right out and we're off and running. And away you go, and you could have, what, 4 guys, 5 guys in this, and then maybe you could still get a Dragonfly or 2 in there for the rest. So you could easily have enough ground vehicles for 10 people in there. Get 2 Dragonflies plus 1 of these. You come in hot and you unload. There's one other place where the Valkyrie could actually be very good. and that is if it's actually ultra tanky. If it's ultra tanky, and this is something that's a little hard to judge right now, balance is all over the place and that. If it's ultra tanky though, you come in, you drop your crew off a kilometer out or whatever, then as they're moving in, you fly overhead using those remote turrets and the bottom turret, and you work almost as a close support gunship. And as long as you're tanky enough, you can do that, and you come in, then they have air support as they're coming in with the ground support vehicles that you deliver to them with their offload and everything. And that could make for a substantially powerful, approach for a ground force or whatever. Is it going to be better than 3 hoplites? I don't know. Would it be more powerful than a Retaliator? Well, considering a Retaliator can't really fly in atmosphere right now, yes. Will it be better than a Retaliator once it's been upgraded? I don't know. So this thing will go right in, no problem here. Right up there. And if I didn't have, I have that ramp up right now, so this was something I didn't actually show. So this is, let me hop out of here. That's a cool sight. Turn that off. So this here is kind of like an emergency stop ramp so you don't run in and destroy everything. We can raise and lower this. So we'll put that down. Then I can pull up a little bit further. And you can get 2 Cyclones in here. It's a tight fit. One is kind of sitting on top of the wheels of the other one. But you can get 2 Cyclones in here, deploy them in and out. I don't have 2 Cyclones that I can actually bring, but so we can pull this guy all the way up in here. Like that. And then if we were off to the side, you can bring another Cyclone in here. And it's a tight fit, but you can get 2 of them in here. You could also get 1 there. In fact, you could maybe even get 3. If you put 1 here, the other one can almost fit alongside here. And that's where like you drive over the wheel and your wheel's here, there. So you can fit a number of Cyclones in this thing also. I'm tempted to lift it. It was a mistake! It was a mistake! I'm sorry, Cyclone. No, don't flip. Ah, shit. Well, darn. Now what we do is we get the rover and we get it unstuck. Where'd the rover go? Rover's over here. Can I get in there with the rover and push it? Maybe. Whoops. So yeah, that is the Valkyrie. It's a good concept. I love the alien design of it. I like the aesthetic, you know. I'm just not sure how viable it is going to be in terms of gameplay. I don't know how many companies or whatever organizations within Star Citizen are going to want to put that many people into it. Or maybe you use it as a distraction. That's another viable option. You bring this guy in as a distraction. Everyone's shooting this up while you're offloading troops with some other smaller ships. That way they're not being harassed as much, and at least for their first few minutes. Oh, did it flip over? Hey, good job, good job, Cyclone. That's another possible viable option for it. It's a pretty damn expensive ship for that, though. To use as a distraction bullet sponge, it's pretty darn expensive if you're not using it as a dropship. I like it, but I didn't like it enough to keep it. So there you guys go. That is the Anvil Valkyrie. Until next time, this has been Paler. Thanks for watching.